it's dry in my bathtub at the moment with this thing.
Certainly. A few short moments, and Mexico Super E3 will be underway. And that happens now. Hamilton having a look at the inside, and he makes it fall. Oh, he's going to pass it.
And the through goes Diego on the inside of Sullivan.
Letting Live do on the outside. Somehow goes through. And Stefan looks back at Juba, and Juba's into the wall.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Sao Paulo Sambadrome for round 3 of season 7 of the EERC Formula E Championship. My name is Edward Hunter. Joining me in the commentary booth is Mr. Nick Comer, driver of the safety car, and Peter Schumann, broadcast director. So then, I guess that I was supposed to have a co-commentator. I know Lorenzo's not feeling too well because he gave blood earlier today, so it's a very, very worthy cause for Lorenzo Tirovic, and we'll have to see how his cars get on with James Knox and co. But anyway, of course, winner last time out in interesting circumstances at Bern was Michael Steffel, just beating Louis Hartley, if memory serves correctly. In a very, very close finish. And of course, this James Juba was on the front row, got eliminated. Was on pole position, in fact, then made a bad start and got eliminated in contact with Steffel. He just went straight into the wall at the chicane, didn't he? The sort of invisible wall over the curb, destroyed the front of his car. So Juba, winner of the first round, didn't have quite as good a time in round 2, but he's very, very close at the top of the championship standings. And remember, we are getting to the halfway point in the season then, as Juba begins his first flying lap. So Nick, what have we got to look out for here at the Sambadrome as Juba discovers just how bumpy it's going to be into turn 1?
I'm going to be honest, I don't know the track.
Okay, well, there we go. Brilliant insight there from Nick Coleman. Let's hope if there's a safety car called, he knows which way to go, as Juba then negotiates the chicane of 1 and 2, goes around the hairpin of turn 3, and now downhill towards the first chicane he comes. This will be interesting part of the track in attack mode, of course, as Juba hooks up the apex on exit there. Very, very smooth, and now he's going towards the sort of 2 90-degree right-handers of 8 and 9, I believe. So then, just a little contact with the wall on exit, but still the fastest man out there by some margin as he comes towards 9 and 10. And now to 11, the final corner on the circuit. Right-handed, this is, of course, where many of the real life Sao Paulo E-Prix end up being decided by the final corner, 107.457. It's quite the marker laid down by Juba. Louis Hartley can only go 6/10 slower, but he is quicker than Michael Steffel. And remember, all the drivers in this first group are trying to get into the top 5 come the end of the session. And of course, the track conditions are going to improve for the later groups. That's just part of the format. It's the reason why the format, of course, got abandoned later on by real life Formula E. But we are about 2.5 seasons behind in EERC, because it's been about 3 years in between season 6 and season 7. As we now watch Steffel. I was just trying to see if I could find the quali groups. There we go. So it should be Ivan Brewer, Philip Savinsky, Michael Steffel, Louis Hartley, and James Juba then. So your top 3, Juba, Hartley, Steffel, probably the favourites to make it through here. We see Brewer is 4 seconds off the pace, and Philip Savinsky in the 88 is a whole 11.5 seconds down on Juba. So it's clear that some drivers are Steffel or misjudges the exit of the lap, just tags the wall at the final corner there, but gets away with it. 107.8, so he's about just under 4/10 now behind Juba, and ahead, of course, now of Louis Hartley. Ivan Brewer there in the 41. So Brewer, of course, drives 4. I'd love to know who he drives for. I haven't got it listed anywhere, so I guess I'll have to sort of get the standings, see if he's done
Put
it.
it down as Mason Motorsport.
Mason Motorsports, there we go. So a new team getting a chance to shine as Juba goes, fastest then. So reminded then in the overall championship picture, as I think our co-commentator has joined us now, it's 35 points for Mikael Steffel, 28 for Louis Hartley, 24 for Luca Gray, 21 for James Juba, 20 for James Knox, and then Josh Hamilton is on 17 points, having finished runner-up in round 1 and having to miss round 2 in Bern. So anyway, Smule Slevev is with us now as Louis Hartley drifts the rear out of the car. He's going not that much quicker as he falls just a couple of hundredths short of Mikael Steffel there. And Samuel, I wonder if you have any thoughts or insight to the Sambadrome then as we come to the final couple of laps then for Group 1. Savinski has actually got in a pretty decent time in the Optiminal, 8/10 off the pace. So that's much better than his first lap, which was 11 seconds off. So Savinski is starting to just put a bit of pressure on Hartley here. And if Savinski does a good enough job, he might be able to sneak through despite the efforts of the later groups, as it looks like Juba has hit the wall and had to abandon that final flying lap.
Yeah, Michael Staff not really improving. Only 1/10 down in sector 1. That was very close to the wall.
He was a little wide through 7. Yep. And that's compromised his exit through 8, as well as now we see Hartley negotiating the same part of the track, but he was a second down in the first sector then.
Yeah, big mistake, sector 1. Same for Philip. He's 7/10 down sector 1, 8/10 down in sector 2. Not gonna be an improvement. I don't think there's no way he gains that much time in sector 3.
It does seem unlikely then. Louis Hartley crosses the line, but I don't think there's enough time to get another lap in. Savinski knows it as well. So that's our first 5 completed then. Juba from Steffel, Hartley, Savinski, and Brewer in Group 1. Group 2 is just being released now, and that is consists of James Knox, Joshua Hamilton, Luke Mitchell, Connor Knight, and Antoni Paparinopoulos. So, yes. Knox, of course, very, very competitive, has made, I think, both of the Super Poles so far. We've got Paparinopoulos here, we see on screen, the Greek driver last to be let out. Joshua Hamilton, 2-time champion of EERC Formula E. Of course, he was a joint champion season 5 and overall champion in season 6. And then we've got Luke Mitchell, who finished on the podium last time out at Bern. Admittedly, a very, very good drive from Luke Mitchell, considering it was only his second appearance in EERC Formula E as well.
Yeah, Luke Mitchell, a very good drive from other series. Everyone knows his speed.
Yeah, he was very unlucky, actually, in GPVWC Superlights last night, where I think it was Gallery 82s, was it? It was Alexander Ragosa that crashed in the pit entry, and then Luke Mitchell pit immediately behind and had nowhere to go and ended up taking a load of damage.
Yeah,
Nothing really that Mitchell could have done about that. But yeah, certainly Luke Mitchell has had a lot of success in EERC touring cars as well, and it's great to see him transfer that into the Formula E. But there we go, Josh Hamilton, number 1 on the Halo. The Mean Machine is back to cause trouble for those around it. But of course, Josh Hamilton definitely keen to reassert himself. He was beaten in Hyderabad from pole position, wasn't he? It was near pole, and then had to miss the last round as well. So he is sort of going into this round with a little bit on the back foot here, desperate to take the fight back to James Juba, who he beat very narrowly, but nonetheless convincingly in season 6, which was, of course, 3 years ago. I shouldn't still be bitter about it, as Joshua Hamilton, the rear, snaps out and slaps into the wall there, coming out of turn 9, now into 10 and 11. This is the part of the track where Hamilton looks a little bit more hooked up then. What's the first effort going to be? It's 4 fastest, so that is into Super Pole immediately. Mitchell, it isn't far behind either. You can see some of the bumps over the start-finish line. The Sambadrome usually used for parades, but you can tell it's a little bit of a surface that's sort of puts the rear, yeah, it's bumpy in terms of that the front lifts up and then the rears in particular lifting up can be a bit of a, it's a little bit like that old IndyCar circuit used to go over the tram lines. I think it was Baltimore, if memory serves, for Champ Car. But yeah, the Sandpodrome in places reminds me a little bit, a slightly smoother version of that, less lethal. But anyway, Hamilton and Mitchell have made it through. Paparinopoulos goes 7th fastest, so he does beat Brewer. You sense that the blue into the points driver might have a bit of a harder time of things. So Josh Hamilton has gone faster in the first sector than Juba, but he's about 2/10 down in sector 2 as he all gets very wide over the curb there on the inside. Let's hope he didn't get a track limits warning there. Towards the
Close.
Oh, it's fast.
improvement.
There we go. So he beat teammate Michael Steffel, and that means Joshua Hamilton is he's sort of trying to just lay down a marker to intimidate Juba, I think, ahead of the Super Pole session as Luke Mitchell goes a bit too deep into that first chicane there. You saw he had to just slow it down a little bit too late, and that compromised his exit there.
Yeah, very tight qualifying from the top 5 so far. Anton is finishing his lap, I think. He's starting a new one. Yeah, he's starting a new one right now.
Yeah, Paparinopoulos is 360 Motorsports, not Into the Points Blue. I do apologise.
Connor 2/10 up, sector 1. Let's see what he can do in sector 2. Sector 2 is a pretty tricky. There's some pretty tricky points. It's right-hander. Let's see. What is sector 2 end on that track?
Connor Knight is XRL Esports, isn't he? So
Yeah.
sector 2 is from just after turn 3. It's in the middle of 7 and 8. Those two 90-degree corners. So then, a little bit of a snap out of the final corner. Across the line comes Knight. It's only good enough for 7th. That's nonetheless a decent effort, though, as we see Luke Mitchell ducking for. It's Thomas Rashke's team. That's why the livery looks slightly similar to R1, but sort of pinky purple. Here we go. Connor Knight then is able to jump Paparinopoulos. Paparinopoulos returns the favour almost immediately by going 7th fastest. As Luke Mitchell is quickest in the first sector, so taking advantage of track this. There's a front wing lying in the exit of the 5-6 chicane there. And so Josh Hamilton, that could be his session, or this part of the session anyway, done for him. Luke Mitchell is coming up to the sector 2 split now. And personal best, but he's a 10th and a half down on Juba then. So it's all going to come down to these last couple of sectors. Remember, Mitchell wants a little bit of buffer. Can he at least jump Hartley or Steffel here? That's the crucial part of this equation. Very close to the inside wall.
Might be pole position. Very fast lap.
Oh,
Ooh,
2/10 off. So he actually beats Josh Hamilton there. That was a very fine effort, and that means at the moment it's a Hunter Birch simulation 1 and 2 in this qualifying session.
Yeah, very close in the top 5. Only 4 times between all of them. Very, very close indeed.
So Group 3 being released. Oh, and is that both at the
Everyone's going a
Finnerbond?
bit wide, yeah.
So this is in this group. Who is in this group then? We have got Thomas Rashke, I believe is appearing for the first time, the German. Stanislas Peugeot, the Dutchman, if memory serves. French, sorry. Aidan Coleman, the British driver for A360 Motorsports. Pascal Eggert, American, sorry. Pascal Eggert, who's isn't Pascal German, but he lives in the Netherlands. In America, sorry. And then David Granville. And David is, I think David is not in the server. It doesn't matter then. There we go. So much for trying to remember everyone's nationalities then. You can see what team they drive for then. Coleman has got to hope he can get the 360 Motorsports car into Super Pole here. But the time to beat is Louis Hartley, currently in 5th, of course. And there's that 4/10 gulf between Hartley and Savinsky. So any of these drivers can get themselves into that and maybe qualify in 6th or 7th. They would still be doing very, very well, I think, as we see Coleman attacking that first chicane then. And of course, Coleman has had some decent results so far, hasn't he, this season? Aidan Coleman he got 7 points from the first round of the season in Hyderabad. He didn't score anything in Bern because he wasn't there, memory serves. So yeah, he's another driver like Joshua Hamilton returning to the championship after a week away. And he is a long way down in this first sector then, which does not bode well for the rest of the lap then. So yeah, Coleman has surely got to find something. You've got to think Rashke, Peugeot and Eggert got to be also pretty decent bets to at least threaten our top 5 here. And here comes Pascal right now then. This first lap does not look too promising then, but he has got one, not on the board, sorry, as Coleman now goes 8th fastest and jumps Connor Knight. There's Peugeot, the Frenchman. What team does Peugeot drive for again? Is that the... Oh, he's in the second ducking fast then. So he's teammate to Connor Knight then. It's just, they have a completely different livery, which sort of threw me off there. You can see there, Peugeot, Rashke and Eggert not seeing particularly great time to start off with. It does look like James Knox did Knox set a time in the first group? Is he just showing up late here and he's going to do group?
No, he did set a lap. He disconnected, I think. Yeah, he set a lap. He was P5.
Yep, so that does seem to add up what we're hearing from commentary and broadcast direction there. That is not a big cause for concern for Knox. So I think wasn't quite in the top 5 anyway by the time that he set, if memory serves. I think he was about second off. As Pascal Eggert, I think, does tap the inside wall there. Does go 10th fastest though, jumps ahead of Brewer. As we see Coleman going 7th fastest, but he's still a second off the pace. Aidan Coleman has got to find 7/10 here. I'm surprised as we look now at Peugeot. Rashke takes a second off his first time. That's the ducking fast car. Peugeot, the rear just starts to get away from him through turn 11, the final corner on the lap. And Peugeot, as a result, is only 12th fastest then. So 14 drivers on the grid here. And it's Coleman that's doing the best of all of them. Eggert, Rashke and Peugeot just look like neither of those three are able to quite get a decent lap together. And that's why they are all 10th and below. Oh, well, that's certainly not going to get him through that corner.
Yep, he was only 2/10 up on his lap in sector 1, but that could have been a solid improvement. And Aiden had a big mistake in sector 2, 1.1
Well, I think he backed off because he saw Pascal.
Oh, yeah, that's correct. I don't notice him in the background.
Anyway then, still enough time, I think, for at least one more flying lap as we cut to Rashke in the 78. And of course, team owner, team principal, and lead driver in inverted commas. I think there really is a lead driver. Oh, that's going to compromise that lap.
Still an improvement though, I think. Yes. Still a slight improvement.
Yeah, it is, but he's only really ahead of Peugeot and Brewer at the present moment. So, Pascal Eggert then, has he got anything in the tank? Not on the evidence of his exit from the 5-6 chicane there. In fact, if anything, he's holding up Aidan Coleman here. So these two, I think, ensuring that neither of them will get through the Super Bowl.
They're just fighting it out. Well, what a ball.
To be honest, is it in Eggert's interest? Because he's, if anything, protecting Louis Hartley. Although there is still the threat. Yeah, I guess Coleman could do it next lap now, but he's still got time for one more, just about, I think. No, this is the last lap, so there we go. Was potentially impeding there from Pascal Eggert, but I don't think it was deliberate. Aidan Coleman not able to go significantly faster then, so he stays a second off the pace. Here comes Rashke. It's a yellow in the first 6, so I think that's Coleman hitting trouble. And Rashke will have to settle for 11th, then a 10th down on Pascal Eggert then. So that confirms in Super Pole it will be Louis Hartley going out first, then Michael Steffel, Joshua Hamilton, Luke Mitchell, and then James Jeever.
Yeah, top 5 very close. This is going to be an interesting Super Pole, for sure. I'm putting my money on Luke Mitchell.
Ooh,
I
interesting.
think he's gonna get it, yeah.
We got a message from Lorenzo Turovic who says, David Granville had to skip this race last minute. His wheels wiring is causing him issues he hasn't managed to fix in time, sadly. So that is why there's only one LEF auto racing car, and that is James Knox, of course. And I'll have to see, because I don't remember what Knox's time was, so we'll have to see where the 75 filled us out. On the grid then, as we wait now for Louis Hartley to lay down the benchmark time that the rest of the forerunners in Superpole are going to have to beat here. And we've seen in Superpole so far, this is where the pressure is really on and where even the top drivers can very, very easily make a mistake, invalidate their lap, and then end up having to start, instead of on pole, in 5th or 4th position.
Yeah, it's very easy to make a mistake under big pressure, especially in situations like Superpole.
So then, Louis Hartley exiting the pit lane now. And of course, he's going to be released then on this 2.9 kilometer circuit. 11 turns to negotiate here in the Sambadrome at São Paulo, Brazil. You can see the train. It's a bit disconcerting because you see the train in the background going the opposite direction to which the cars go. So it almost feels like there's somebody that's deciding to drive the circuit backwards at full throttle.
Definitely focus a bit.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess I think the Seoul, the South Korea track, we did near the end of last season, that also had a similar thing where they had a motorway by the side of the track that was just active during the race, and it would sort of have like low poly cars sort of going around in the background at high speeds. But anyway, then Hartley trying to warm up his tires a little bit, but he's got to be careful here. I think Louis Hartley's best bet is actually to play it quite safe then, as he gets right to the inside, but I guess this is a circuit where the walls, for the most part, designate the track limits, apart from that first chicane then. So let's see how Louis Hartley does with his braking then. Over the bump he goes, into turn 1, he starts braking immediately, and swings it in. Through turn 2 he comes, the rear stepping out over the curb, and then wide into that turn 3 hairpin. He's going to be feeling the pain of that all the way down this straight into the 5-6 chicane.
Yeah, Louis Hartley with a purple sector 1. This is, he's technically the first person on track. My bad for that.
That's true.
I think, is that a good sector 1? In terms of group looking?
It's decent. He's not far away from his ultimate pace that he was setting in the group stages. Hartley now goes through 7 and 8. Oh, he lets the wall just correct the direction of the car for him. Now, just 2 more corners to go then into 10, 11, cuts right to the inside and then drifts out. And now has to have a couple of goes steering into the final corner. Will that end up costing him here? Hartley to the line, 107.0. Wow, that's certainly a big improvement for him. And the fastest time I think we've seen yet.
Yeah, this is better than any time 7 group stage. I'm pretty sure the group stage lap time was 0.1. I'm pretty sure. But
I'm not sure if they're using attack mode in the Superpole. I'm pretty sure they're not. But yeah, they might be using anything that they have at their disposal then. Any tricks in the book. Mikhail Steffel, winner last time out, championship leader, coming into turn 1 and 2. You can see from the off-board angle, very close to the inside, but does avoid hitting it. That's a lovely angle there. I think that's supposed to be from, and again a bit wide into turn 3 as he drifts on exit. Let's see then, towards the first split. He is coming now, and he's down on Hartley's time by nearly 3/10 there. So yeah, that really puts into perspective the job that Louis Hartley did on his first run. I thought Hartley might play it safe, but he absolutely went for it there.
Yeah, at the last sector we could see how much he was pushing, going close to the walls, going over the curbs, just pushing to the maximum. Car sliding, however, very, very pushing.
Yeah, almost as good middle sector for Mikhail Steffel, but it's really the first sector and the last sector where the time is to be gained, I guess. And Steffel, you saw not quite as close to the inside. Seems very much to be either taking it easy or just doesn't have the confidence. Second fastest, he does set the fastest final sector though, and he's about nearly 2/10 off Hartley then, as we see Josh Hamilton, his teammate now, taking to the track. What can the 2-time reigning champion do here. He's very, very keen to reassert himself. He's taken pole multiple times in the past, including at Hyderabad earlier this season. He's
Better turn
much
3 than
tighter
we've
into
seen,
turn 3.
Yeah, better,
Yeah.
better line.
Rear sliding out a bit, but yeah, Hamilton could, yeah, he's up on Louis Hartley by a 10th.5 exactly. So this looks very, very competitive so far.
I think it's, as long as he doesn't make any big mistakes, I think this could be pole lap easily just by sector 1. 10th.5 up just from like 3 corners, that's pretty amazing.
It is, and but in a way not surprising for a driver of Josh Hamilton's caliber. Again, very close to the wall on entry, but not so much on exit there. Nonetheless, he was getting the time out of it as he goes faster than Hartley in the first 2 sectors. Can he go faster than Steffel in the final sector? We'll have to see. Swings it in, powers towards the line. Will it be pole position? It will be pole position. There we go. Okay, that's odd. 107.4, but it did say Hartley set a 107.0. I guess
Hartley
that
did
was
a 108.0. I don't know why it's got a 107.0.
okay. Timing glitch. So never mind then. Is Luke Mitchell starting his lap? Yes, he is then. So immediately swinging it a little bit wide through the turn 3 hairpin, but not too much time lost there. Let's see what the first of our Hunter Burgess simulation drivers can do. It's a 10th down on Hamilton in the first sector, so he's looking potential, I think, Luke Mitchell to try and slot in between Hamilton and Hartley here if he can put a really good lap together. Of course, you've got to remember this is his first appearance, of course, in Superpole, if memory's, oh no, second, because he was here in Hong Kong at the end of last season. Oh, you saw he started turning a bit too early into turn 7 and had to sort of back out of that one. That's going to cost him at least half a tenth, potentially more. Just 2 more corners to go.
There's quite a lot of curbs. Car slides out.
Wide at the final corner, and that's surely going to cost him. Over the line he comes. What's it going to be for Luke Mitchell? 3rd fastest. He slots in between Hartley and Steffel there. And there we go. Already his teammate James Juba starts his lap. So James is not hanging around then. Desperate to take another pole position like we saw in Hyderabad. No, not in Hyderabad. It was Bern, sorry. And he's hooked up that first chicane beautifully, using the curb to perfection. Drifting it out. Amazing car control. It's always so much fun to watch James Juba on maximum attack. 4 thousandths faster than Joshua Hamilton. And I think he's the only man. Oh, as he locks up into 5 and 6, but doesn't lose out too much there. Although he is a bit far over the curb on exit there. So that could well make the difference here. Seeing visually just how much he's pushing into these braking zones. Into turn 7 we go. Oh, when he bumps the wall, so no hesitation like we saw for Luke Mitchell. He's just going to shrug it off and keep going. And it's a little bit of a scrappy middle sector, but it is faster. Into last 2 corners he goes, and he's got it hooked up. It's just the run to the line to go. Will Juba be able to snatch pole position? Yes, he will. 107.3. What a fabulous lap that was. Purple in all 3 sectors, and he beats Joshua Hamilton by a 10th of a second. So there you go. Your top 5 will be James Juba, Joshua Hamilton, Louis Hartley, Luke Mitchell, Michael Steffel. So that was a
very good lap.
And the first time all 5 Super Bowl participants complete their laps this season, which tells you a lot about the first chicane at Hyderabad and the walls at Burton as well. Right then, so Juba looking to recover from the early collision. Hamilton looking to recover from being beaten by Juba in Hyderabad. Hartley looking to make up for his narrow loss to Michael Steffel at Bern last time out. Luke Mitchell looking to build on his podium at Bern, his first ever Formula E EERC podium. And then Michael Steffel looking to recover from a slightly disappointing quali there, down in 5th, although he was only 8 tenths off a pole. But nonetheless, it really shows you that sometimes taking it easy in Super Bowl can backfire. Not that he was taking it easy, it just looked a little bit like he was playing it safe in some of those corner entries. That's very true, because that's at least 2 times where they've gone into the first corner together.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Yes. So then, 29 laps, 14 drivers taking part, and apparently James Knox must have messed up the chicane on both of his laps because he did not get a clean lap in before being disconnected. So he will start 14th and last in the sole LEF cars. But yeah, James Knox has certainly got the talent to recover ground here. And we've got to watch out for our 2 attack modes activations whenever they are deployed. That could have a big impact on how this plays out. So, who's your money on, Samuel?
I'm gonna put it on Hamilton. I think he's gonna do good. He had a very good solid out lap, no mistakes, pushing to the limits. I think he's got a good chance at winning.
Well, if it's me, I can't go for anybody but Juba because he's in my car. So, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Josh Hamilton, a very, very formidable opponent, and Juba taking, along with Paparinopoulos and Knox, taking a while to get to the grid. Actually,
There's still 50 seconds to go.
there we go. Right, he pops on. So it's just Paparinopoulos that we're waiting on until we show the green flag then. So, tension building then as Paparinopoulos appears, and it looks like the Sao Paulo E-Prix is about to get underway any minute now. And it's going to be fascinating to see who gets the best start here and who it is that is going to manage their energy the most efficiently and the most spectacularly. As you see Rashke back in the pits before re-emerging. So it looks like Thomas Rashke had a small issue there that is now cleared. And we should see the lights any minute now. And off we go. The Sao Paulo E-Prix begins, and it's Josh Hamilton that's made an amazing getaway there to snatch the lead from Juba into turn 1. Hartley is looking behind. Oh, there's a big crash behind.
Big crash in turn 1.
I think that was Pascal in trouble. He's lost some of his rear winglets there. James Knox is already out. So, yeah, it's still only one LEF, one ducking fast car, Connor Knight then. Both and neither LEF is really going to start this race then. As we see, Luke Mitchell going side by side, Philip Savinsky making the move for 5th position there. But for Juba, this is a bit of not a nightmare start, but certainly not ideal because Joshua Hamilton absolutely aced that getaway. And I think Juba almost got a little bit caught out unawares by the start lights there. Look at Hamilton already sweeping away into the distance as Coleman goes side by side. Oh, and who was that? That was Pascal Eggert. So it wasn't Eggert that lost the rear wings. It must have been James Knox that was involved in that collision. I think it was Brewer maybe as well because he's lost a lot of time.
Yeah, Brewer, Knight, James Knox.
Oh, and in the wall goes Rashke, and somebody's lost the front tires and suspension, so there's been 2 crashes there. Rashke, and I think Brewer was the other one there, as we see. Oh, Mitchell has picked up Mikael Steffel, as we see all continuing the ducking fast car to just go through the first chicane there. Paparinopoulos is almost trying to back out there, and Connor Knight gets up the inside of him into turn 3. It stands as Peugeot then. I have no idea why he's trying to get back to the pit lane.
He's
I
gonna
guess
try and get back to the pit lane, huh?
out of desperation, as we see Josh Hamilton's pulled nearly 2 seconds on Juba. Still going into lap 2 here, and Lee Hartley still 7/10 now behind the Hunter Birch Simulator racing driver. It should be Hunter Birch Simulation, but somebody changed it to Hunter Birch Racing. I didn't see who, but nevertheless, Mikael Steffel has been overtaken by Luke Mitchell. Mitchell didn't get the best start, but now has picked up Savinsky and Steffel and is setting after Hartley, almost to try and get involved in the podium battle and help out his teammate Juba here. So at the moment, this is going pretty well, although it's quite even. You see, there's Peugeot's tyre is sort of lying on the outside of the final corner there, sort of on the racing line as well, as we see Steffel just trying to sweep around to the outside to put pressure on Mitchell here. And we see in the background Coleman now is starting to harass Philip Zervinski. Oh, and he bumps into him. Got a little bit caught out by the closing speed into turn 3 there. As we see yellow in the first sector. Peugeot and Rashke have made it back to the pits for repairs. As we see Connor Knight is the first to go into attack mode. He's got 4 minutes that he'll use now. As we see Luke Mitchell has that repassed by Michael Steffel into the 5-6 chicane there. So Steffel goes around the outside, gets the inside in the racing line. So then lap 3 of 29, and it's Hamilton leading Cooper by 2.3 seconds. It'll be interesting to see how much energy Josh Hamilton is using relative to James Cooper in a couple of laps time, I guess. As Hartley now starting to pull away a little bit from Mikael Steffel, 8 tenths behind him. As we cut back to the this is the Luke Mitchell, Savinsky and Coleman battle, with Pascal Eggert not far behind them. And sense a little bit that Luke Mitchell now on the back foot, now that Mikael Steffel's passed him, is just selling in, trying to save energy for later in the race. This is going to be a very, very energy intensive race, and I think Josh Hamilton is pushing to build a gap, whereas Juba is more thinking about keeping energy reserve. Oh, and Aiden has caught out Philip Zavinsky on the exit here. Side by side they go. It's the 360 Motorsports driver, the American, that is going to take the line, take the inside, take 6th position then from the Optiminal Esports driver there. So yeah, Savinsky just spun his wheels on the exit, left the door open on the outside there out of turn 3. That was a good move, Samuel.
Yeah, that was a very good switchback from Coleman.
This Steffel has got things under control now. I wonder if both Mitchell and Juba are on a super save strategy, thinking about later in the race, because it seems like Into the Points and Fina Von are doing something a bit different here. But of course, Juba is still got the 2-second gap to Louis Hartley. But yeah, if Steffel gets past Hartley, I think that's where the problems could begin for Hunter Birch here. As we see,
very close behind Hartley, only 2 tenths gap between them coming into turn 3.
and you can see when he's lifting, coasting to sort of regain energy under braking, regenerate braking under energy under braking there, as actually Hartley goes really wide on his exit out of turn 3 and taps the wall there, but nonetheless gets a decent run. You can tell Steffel looking very, very confident here. Oh, and he nearly hits the back of Hartley. So slow is, and Hartley actually, I think hits the wall on exit, and that's going to allow Mikael Steffel to just position himself on the outside here, but he has to back out. There's no way he's going to go all the way around the outside through turn 7 here. His only real hope is to try and put Louis Hartley offline again, but this is allowing our top 2 to break away from the pack a little bit.
Steffel slight contact with the wall there on the exit of the turn. Very close. Hartley seems to almost be slowing him
Up the
down.
inside.
Doesn't stick him, maybe tries around the outside. No space there. Tries for the switchback. Very close.
Here we go then. Steffel again goes back to the racing line, goes back to the outside, and he's going to go all the way around the outside. Louis Hartley decides to let that one go. I think he's learned from running out of energy right at the end of Bern when fighting with Steffel, and all of this is allowing Luke Mitchell to catch back up, actually, as Juba is the first of our leaders to go into attack mode. He gets his 4 minutes out of the way. Connor Knight, by the way, has gone into his first attack mode. It's nearly expired, but he is a couple of seconds, 6 seconds down on the rest of the pack, so it's not really worked out that well for him. Be interested to see if Juba can start to gain on Josh Hamilton down the straights here. Oh, yellow in the first sector.
Hartley giving up the position to Steffel, I think, was a smarter move. Just losing too much time fighting. Luke Mitchell already caught up to them. It's a better move overall.
Yeah, it would seem that way. Fastest middle sector, unsurprisingly, for Juba, 27.6, which is significantly faster, over a second faster than Joshua Hamilton. That shows the attack mode coming into its own. Of course, it's through the corners, it can be a little trickier. Oh, fastest lap of the race for Juba, and he's halved the gap to Josh Hamilton then in just 1 lap. Oh, well, not even a whole lap there. It's most of a lap, because of course it's that, not including that first chicane. I would not be surprised if Juba gets close enough to make a move, or if Josh Hamilton decides to respond by going into his own attack mode here. As we see the battle for third starting to intensify between Steffel, Hartley, Mitchell and Coleman. look at this. Juba, where's he going to go for the move? He's surely going to go for it down here, down the straight. Josh Hamilton tries to block, but does not move quickly enough. As we see, Thomas Raschke has got going about 6 laps there. It was surprising we didn't have the safety car for that first start, but it is a new race leader. It is James Juba now with 2 minutes left of his attack mode. He's got to try and break away from Josh Hamilton to prevent Hamilton from getting revenge of his own attack mode later in this race.
Yeah, Hamilton's going to be looking to maximize his time behind Juba. Even though he's in attack mode, Juba with a new best lap time with a 109.2, 73. Luke Mitchell right in the back of Hartley.
Yeah, and remember, Hamilton has got that gap behind him. He could go into attack mode now. He's got his teammate Steffel holding up the pack behind. We'll have to see as they go through turn 3 now. It doesn't look like Hamilton's going to go for it. He's going to wait for a bit later on as there's a yellow flag in the final sector. And Coleman is all over the back of Mitchell, and it's Steffel that goes for it. It looked a bit like Louis Hartley tried to go for attack mode and missed there.
Yeah, slightly looked like a miss there. Louis Hartley maybe losing a little time trying to get into attack mode when he's under pressure.
Yeah, this is an interesting call. Oh, as if front wing has gone flying there.
The
That must be Pedro having his second crash of the race then. As you see Aiden Coleman getting closer and closer to the back of Luke Mitchell. Brewer goes into attack mode and Coleman is up the inside into turn 7. Mitchell has surely got to leave room here for the 360. No, he's going to try and hang it out round the outside, but that's the long way round. It's surely not going to work unless
too wide.
Coleman has a bad exit here, but Coleman still can't get rid of that brake ring car, but Mitchell's got to back off, and up the inside. That was almost a little too generous from Mitchell, and that's going to allow Savinsky to attack.
Yeah, Mitchell a bit too cautious in my opinion. Allowed Coleman to go through as well.
Well, yeah, Coleman had the inside, so once that happened, there wasn't much you can do. And now Savinsky is going to attack Mitchell into the first chicane. Mitchell tries to hold his nerve around the outside and tries to back Philip Savinsky into Pascal Eggert here. As we see, Hamilton has gone into his attack mode. Oh, big moment for Coleman. Oh, and somebody about that Eggert having a massive spin as well. Oh dear, so Coleman just about holds on to it. Eggert has to come to a complete stop there. And now we see Josh Hamilton has gone to his first attack mode. Mikael Steffel has pulled away well and truly from Hartley, who now, I think it was Hartley going into attack mode as well, but caused Coleman to have that massive moment. Right then, so Juba is out of attack mode. He's pulled a nearly 4-second gap to Hamilton. So let's see what Josh Hamilton can do in his attack mode here, because this will be crucial deciding the outcome of this race. Hamilton was a bit slower in the sector 2 actually, but faster in sector 3 by about 3 something, but yeah, there we go. On that last lap, 8/10 slow though, so we'll have to see. Juba immediately going into attack mode number 2 to respond to Josh Hamilton here. So Hamilton is going to have another attack mode, of course, later on as well. So Juba, having pulled the trigger first, is going to be feeling the pain of that later on. Yeah, that you saw Hamilton was starting to cut into that lead then. So this aggressive strategy from Hunter Birch that's kept Juba in the lead for the time being. Let's see if it works out for him. Mitchell is the only one of our top 8 that's not going into attack mode yet, I don't think. Oh, and Savinsky having a huge moment there at the chicane.
Yeah, very big moment. I think also Hamilton is going to be looking to gain the position of Juba right around the end of the race, since there's already one attack mode down.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because we know Sao Paulo from the real life races here is quite an energy intensive circuit. So we'll have to see who has got plenty to play with at the end. Mitchell is going to be a sitting duck here to Philip Savinsky down the straights. So Mitchell would be advised, I think, to either go for attack mode or not put up too much of a fight against Philip Savinsky. Here we see yellow in the middle sector, and up the inside easily goes Savinsky for 6th position. So yeah, Luke Mitchell just continues to lose ground to the front runners here. Mikael Steffel is nearly out of his first attack mode. 20 seconds left to go there, so Hartley could take advantage when he's got about a minute left to use. Ivan Brewer is out of the race for Mason Motorsports number 41 as Pascal Eggert squeezes around the outside, and Luke Mitchell just looked very, very cautious there. I wondered maybe there's another issue with that car, because He's yet to go for attack mode. I think he's just waiting for those ahead to run out. Oh, too much power for Pascal Eckert. And he spins the rears up. And he's going to have to pass Luke Mitchell almost immediately there. Mitchell sort of doesn't really know what to do.
Yeah, Luke Mitchell is kind of out of ideas at this point. He's fallen down to P7 when he was P3 in qualifying, I believe.
Yeah, but of course there you saw that 60 and 61% for our two leaders, so it's pretty evenly matched there. Juber's used a little bit more, unsurprisingly having used a bit more attack mode. Coleman and Mitchell, unsurprisingly, who's not used attack mode at all, looking the highest of our top 10. Paprianopoulos sets the fastest middle sector of the race. Pascal Eggert has got about 30 seconds more of attack mode here, but he's backing off almost, so he doesn't catch up to the back of Mitchell here. That's interesting. Is Luke Mitchell going to use attack mode now? As we see Michael Steffel has run out. No, he's deciding to wait a bit later then. So I wonder if Mitchell's going to wait for Philip Savinsky to run out. Santos Pajoda's got himself a penalty 3 laps down. I wonder if there are blue flags. Maybe he's not obeyed there, because I think Juba was starting to catch him there. We see, I think Connor Knight has just gone into his second attack mode. And now Philip Savinsky is all over the back of Coleman, who's not had a good lap here. And you see Juba has extended his gap to Hamilton to 6 seconds, and now he's got 40 more seconds of attack mode at this phase. So Hamilton decided to save his last attack mode for a bit later, but Juba is about to run out of all of his.
Yeah, Philip Ball close behind Coleman, who's looking to get a good run out of the final corner. Coleman with a slight oversteer out of the last corner, but doesn't lose that much time. They both have the attack mode on right now. Is Coleman slowing down?
Yeah, it could be. Even with attack mode, you still have to save energy to an extent there. So yes, that was Coleman. Oh, as he gets a little wide through the first chicane and into the first hairpin they come. Coleman with 20 seconds left. So he sort of just got to hold on. And Savinsky will run out of time immediately after he does. Speaking of out of time, Juba's attack mode extinguishes, and he's pulled out an 8.89 second lead then over Josh Hamilton. So that's the gap that Josh Hamilton will have to overcome when he goes into his own attack mode. Is old Coleman struggling with the extra power there, and that's going to allow Savinsky up the inside the last possible moment. No, it doesn't, because Coleman pulls across the American defending position stoutly into turn 7, and all this squabbling is going to allow Luke Mitchell to catch almost into the back of Savinsky there. Yeah, Mitchell is playing it very cautious on the energy and on the attack mode here, as he looks for an opening on Savinsky, but can't quite make it happen into turn 10 there. That's of course where infamously Nick Cassidy made the move for victory there on Mitch Evans a couple of years ago, and then of course most recently, as we see Mitchell now up the inside of Savinsky there, as Mikhail Steffel uses his second attack mode. It's a good move there from Mitchell, set Savinsky up out of the final corner. Mitchell's got decent pace here. He's just waiting a long while to use his attack modes. And I wonder what the reason for that could be. If he's maybe banking on a safety car or something.
Yeah, strategy is quite big here, especially around speed tracks like how FE is. Strategy is just so important. You gotta know everything. You gotta know your attack modes.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Hamilton has gained a couple of attempts. He's got the gap to just under 8 seconds now to Juba, even without his second attack mode. Steffel should run out before catching Hamilton, you would expect. But he is in, still got 3 minutes left to go, and he's about 4.6 seconds behind and closing. Yeah, there we go. Mikhail Steffel set 1.3 seconds faster, which is sort of what you'd expect. And Josh Hamilton taking 7/10 out, and Hamilton goes into that final attack mode. Okay, that's interesting. As we look there, all at Luke Mitchell and Aiden Coleman, and Mitchell has gone round the outside of Coleman, who tries to dive back up the inside into the first chicane. It's Mitchell that's got the inside on the exit. They bang wheels, and now Coleman has got the inside for the hairpin there. That might have been a good moment for Luke Mitchell to go into attack mode, but he decides to stick it out. Then he is waiting till later. He's going to use both of them up in quick succession, you would expect. Yeah, elbows out from Luke Mitchell, and he's back into the top 5 then. But look at the progress of Joshua Hamilton. He's now 6.6 seconds behind with 3 minutes left to go then. of his attack mode. So he will get close. Will he get close enough? That's the big question. Has Juba done enough here?
Hamilton, big gap to close, 5 seconds. 5-second gap to Juba.
He had a big moment at the final corner getting on the power, and he's actually lost a bit of time. The gap almost back up to 7 seconds there. That might have something to do with Juba being on a straight as well, though. But yeah, there we go. That looks more representative. 5.5 seconds, the current gap then. And closing below 5 seconds now as you look at Coleman struggling to keep up with Mitchell now. It's almost as though Mitchell has realized he's saved a bit more energy than anyone else, is now starting to use it a little bit. And he could be trying to push a gap now to Coleman so he can go into his first attack mode, but Coleman goes into his second attack mode. Here's Juba, still 6th. He's fighting back against Hamilton's attack mode very convincingly here. Juba was just so good when he went into attack mode, wasn't he? That he was able to, even though Hamilton had that early track position and made the better start, it's Juba that sort of outfoxed him strategically.
Juba just got so much time on Hamilton. Very surprising, even without attack mode. And Hamilton with attack mode, Juba still gained.
Yep. So less than 2 minutes to go. The gap 5 seconds or so. But yeah, you can see that Juba really knows how to get the most out of these cars in the low traction zones. And Hamilton is just sort of spinning the wheels up, gaining time down the straight. Certainly you can see him in the background closing in. 90 seconds left of this attack mode deployment, but he needed to be much closer at this point to contemplate a move. And he knows that he's got to take risks to catch up. That's the problem here. He's under such a high pressure situation, and he might be able to play the energy game in the closing stages, but there's no guarantee it'll work for him. At 42% for the top 4, Mitchell on 45%. So yeah, Mitchell is sort of just hoping those ahead of him will run out of energy, and he can use his attack and breeze through his attack mode in the last couple of laps. He's still got a gap to Coleman. Hamilton 3 seconds now behind Juba. He's only got 40 seconds left. Juba is looking better and better in this position. Then, of course, getting closer will still be to Hamilton's advantage, but the attack mode is not going to be able to make the difference for him here. He's going to have to do it without the aid of it, it looks like. All over the curb as well on entry into turn 3.
Yeah, very aggressive. James Juba only 2 seconds ahead of Hamilton now. Hamilton, though, running out of attack mode at this point. Juba only has 1, while Hamilton has 2 still, I believe, right? Or I'm mistaken.
This is Hamilton's second one, and James has used his second one as well.
Okay, so they both have 1 for the final portion of the race.
Ah, that's true. It is 3 attack modes. For some reason, I thought it was 2. But yeah, that does mean Juba has got a little bit in hand if he really needed to. But I think it's more just waiting for Hamilton to run out and then immediately go into attack mode to demoralize. And there we go. The gap 3 seconds now as Hamilton runs out. Steffel has gone into his 3rd one, I think, if memory serves.
Yeah, I think so as well.
So he's trying to keep the leaders in sight as well. Mitchell still about 4.6 seconds ahead of at Coleman, despite not having attack mode. So he's been doing really well, but there's a big gap between Mitchell and Hartley now. But having said that, Mitchell has had a good lap here relative to Louis Hartley.
He's been gaining time on him, but the gap is 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Like, he needs to gain quite a bit more time, and there's only 10 laps left. But with energy saving,
he's running out of time to use all this attack mode. There we go. Somebody's given Luke Mitchell the hurry up, and did he miss it there?
Yeah, missed the entry to it, I think.
Yeah, he's clearly not had a whole lot of time to practice the entering attack mode. Luckily, Coleman, it looks like, has got Eggert behind him as somebody else has lost the front wing again into turn 5 and 6 this time rather than exit, and it's Pepperinopolis. Josh Hamilton's cut the gap down a little bit to Juba to 2.6 seconds in these final 10 laps. As you see, Connor Knight defending that 9th position. from the front wingless 360 Motorsports car. And it is Pascal Eggert behind Coleman and fending off Savinsky. So this has been a good battle actually, Coleman, Eggert, Savinsky, and of course Mitchell, who's now broken away a bit.
Someone in the back having a snap. That was Travinsky, I think. Almost touches the wall. Luke Mitchell.
Oh, another penalty for Thomas Rashgate, so clearly a bit of pit lane speeding or track cutting. Mitchell, only 9 laps left.
Go for the attack mode, yeah.
Now, if Mitchell doesn't use all of his attack mode, does he get penalised here? Or will it just be a case of them just letting it go? Or because he didn't get the advantage?
RFAPS automatically gives a penalty.
Ah, okay. Let's hope Luke Mitchell is aware of that.
Yeah, probably. The game will just attach it.
Alright. That's good. I guess Mitchell then would be on for 5th no matter what. He just doesn't want to use attack. Maybe he just really doesn't like attack mode. He decided it's better if I don't use it. Like, he tried to use it, didn't work. He's like, okay, well, I tried. Feels a bit kind of like, who needs extra power anyway? As you see now, Eggert all over the back of Aiden Coleman. Can the American defend very close to the wall on exit? Mikael Steffel is not gaining significantly on Hamilton in attack mode. And it feels like this is one of the circuits where you do gain overall down the straights, but now that those who aren't in attack mode are sort of getting the hang. There we go. Eggert surely going to breeze through on attack mode here. No, he doesn't. He actually backs off a bit. As we see Hartley now going to his what should be his final attack mode as well to try and keep Michael Steffel in sight, but the gap 11 seconds there. You can see how much energy they've all got remaining. And Mitchell's actually used a bit more despite not going into attack mode. And he's down to 31% along with Coleman.
Yeah, race is starting to tighten up in the ending stages. Pascal very close to Coleman. Pascal has attack mode for 2 more minutes, so he's definitely going to get past Coleman and just look to...
Well, I don't think it's guaranteed from what we've seen so far. Coleman immediately defending the inside and regenerating energy into turn 7. And a little wide on exit there too. You can feel Pascal being held up as always at the ducking fast car, just drifting it as Juba goes into his final attack mode with just 7 laps to go. You saw Pascal backed off a big time there into turn 10 to avoid hitting the back, and now actually has a very, very good exit in the final corner here. But will it be enough? Here he comes into the first chicane. Oh, that almost looked like he was heading into the back of Coleman there.
Yeah, it looked like so.
Whoa, and he has to cut the chicane. So again, interesting decisions there by Pascal Eggert as Coleman decides to go into his final attack mode right in front of Pascal. So Pascal's advantage is gone now. And is that Peugeot, I think, that's trying to unlap Pascal here. Here's Savinsky, who's not had a great stint, trying to catch back up to Paparinopoulos. And Tony Paparinopoulos doing well actually to get up into the top 8. There is Steffel, who's 1.6 seconds behind his teammate. Juba, of course, now starting to drop Josh Hamilton with his final attack mode. Hamilton also now goes into his final attack mode, and he sort of had to do that because Steffel was catching him. Maybe teammates, and Steffel may actually be ahead in the championship, of course. But, there was a big threat from behind as Peugeot has a massive moment once more. And up the inside comes Eggert. Has he got Coleman this time? No, Coleman is just able to outfox him. Is just much braver on the braking zone into turn, lifting and coasting into turn 1, isn't he? You can tell also Peugeot is a problem that Pascal Eggert would rather not be dealing with right now.
Yeah, the gaps close down a lot as well. Pascal very, very close to Coleman now. Only 2 seconds back.
I'm gonna guess that Mitchell. You said he was racing. Was it at the start of the day?
Well, FSI hasn't started, so it was
whatever. He was
GPD
racing
Super.
somewhere else. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he has not mapped the attack mode button back onto his steering wheel because there's not enough time for him to use all 3 attack modes.
Okay.
That's
It
just
feels
my,
like,
Unlucky for him.
yeah, Eggert still cannot get through. So I guess that's a guaranteed penalty, and it's kind of Luke Mitchell's fault, I'm afraid, if that's the case. Yeah, well, maybe there'll be a force majeure sort of thing. But here we go, Pascal Eggert then. Again, look, you can tell Coleman is having to sort of overconsume with his attack mode to keep Eggert behind it. Eggert looks a bit faster, but whenever they get to the straight, Coleman has got the advantage. Rashke sets the fastest lap of the race, 108.8, but he's so far down on everybody else, 10 laps down in the lead, that it's kind of immaterial really at this point. 5 laps to go then. Juba is about to run out of attack mode in about 40 seconds time. And Josh Hamilton has got 2 minutes to go, so it'll be another a 90-second advantage for Hamilton, but he's still about 8 seconds down. It's difficult to see Juba losing this one at this point, isn't it, Samuel?
Yeah, pretty hard for him to lose it. Too far ahead at this point. 10
Oh,
second gap.
Eggert almost into the wall there. He's trying to go around the
On the
outside. Almost as he Peugeot has come to a stop at turn 7 in the background. I think he's got going now, but yeah, you can tell Pascal Eggert getting very, very frustrated behind Aiden Coleman here.
Doesn't get that much space either as well. Didn't have much room outside there for where to go. Pascal's gonna look to maybe go down to turn 1, although he's pretty far back now. 19 back in.
rulebook, every amount of unused attack mode is a 15-second penalty. So 3 non-uses of attack mode would be 45 seconds penalty.
Oh dear. Well, that's definitely going to drop him out of 5th then. And probably outside the top. I think he'd still be ahead of the people who are laps down. So, yeah, I think he'd be. But anyway then, well, I guess we'll just have to see once we get to the end. It definitely looks like for whatever reason Luke Mitchell cannot use attack mode at all. Or it feels like the sort of thing that should have been caught before the race rather than in the middle of it. But I don't know. I think we let people off for not using all the attack mode in Bern, didn't we? Or well, there was nearly a situation where Hartley hadn't used all of it by the end. And I think somebody else we did let off as well.
If Pascal's in a good mood or not.
On the evidence of this, he doesn't look in a good mood. Well, actually, he seems quite calm and composed. Maybe he's having fun in this battle. I don't know.
Well, he gets smashed off by Aiden.
Oh. You see Rashke, I think, exiting the pits there. Was it Rashke or was it Peugeot? Don't remember. Yeah, looking like time is running out though for Pascal Eggert. Our 2 leaders on 10%. Steffel has actually saved energy quite well, 12% to his name. But not quite as well as Mitchell and Coleman. Although they are a bit further back, of course. There is the race leader, and I believe, don't think this would put Juba in the championship lead, but it would certainly close up margin between himself and Steffel. So Juba 5th at the moment, 21 points, Steffel 35 points, and it would be a case of Juba would be getting 21, and Michael Steffel in 3rd would be getting 18, am I not mistaken?
That's 1 point.
Is it? That's not what's written down on the standings.
20 points for first, 17 for second, 15 for third.
And is there an extra point for fastest lap?
Yes.
There we go then. That's true. So fastest lap at the moment still set by Thomas Rashke, 108.8. So I guess if Rashke can get in the top 10, that would mean something.
No, it's any position.
Or is that attack mode 2 for Eggert? Eggert has left these attack modes quite late here, actually.
Well, they haven't been really that safe, but sorry. They've only been sorry so far. I think they're going to get quite a lot of penalties, so that wasn't too smart of them.
Yep, as there we go. Oh, is that Connor Knight has taken Savinsky for 9th there with his final attack mode, just as he's about to run out. So good move there from the ducking fast driver as Pascal Eggert is putting the pressure, and you have to say Coleman has actually stood up really well. This has been a fantastic fight for sixth position. Not long to go now as we get into the penultimate lap here. And this is where those who maybe have not saved as much energy and start to feel the pain. Whoa, and right into the wall for Pascal. And that could be the end of that battle then. So clearly the extra attack mode, he might be not steering in a straight line anymore after that one, because that will look like he got really caught out by the instant torque there as Coleman gets a bit crossed up through the chicane at turn 1 and 2. And there's still an opportunity for Eggert to get through here, but he's got to make sure he doesn't hit the wall again, as here comes Luke Mitchell having a go at Louis Hartley, I think, for 4th position. He's going to try and go around the outside. Yes, he is. Could it be that Mitchell's using attack mode and it's not showing up on screen? It does seem I'm not screen. Yeah, either way, he gets past Hartley for 4th on the road, at least. Hamilton has got Steffel ahead of him now, so Mikael Steffel has jumped his teammate on the final lap here, and could there be some team orders there? Mikael Steffel leading the championship now increases, well, limits the damage that James Juba can do to him, but Juba, 10 seconds up the road, has thoroughly outfoxed Hamilton and Steffel today. There he is. Just a few corners left to go. Not much energy left in the tank as Eggert does get by Coleman. 4th position, there it is. So it's coming out the last corner. Coleman dives. Oh, loses the back end. That's a dive and a half. And he decides to back off and let Eggert back through. But Juba now is coming through the last couple of corners.
Pretty good crash.
10 he comes. And after winning in Hyderabad, have been taken out in the first corner in Bern. It's back on the top step for James Juba. And there we go, crosses the line with 0.4% remaining. That was a brilliant drive from James Juba. Stanislas Peugeot decides to go into attack mode right at the end of the race. There goes Steffel, who somehow gets up to 2nd after starting 4th on the grid. Hamilton had a brilliant start, but will have to settle for 3rd. Did Steffel run out of energy before hitting the line there? That'll be interesting. Here comes Luke Mitchell. No attack modes. 0.4% of energy, so he gunned it at the end there. Does beat Louis Hartley on the road. And Pascal Eggert has got 1%. Needs to make sure he doesn't run out of energy here. This could be very, very tight between himself and Coleman. Oh, here we go. He's just lifting, coasting as much as he can. Towards the line they come. Will this be enough? Yes, Pascal Eggert crosses the line, I think, just before he ran out there and beats Aidan Coleman.
Very lucky for him. That could have been pretty bad losing.
Yeah, if he'd run out, I think the game would have told us and penalised him if he'd run out. There goes Connor Knight. Good drive from Knight. We didn't see a whole lot of it, but he did pass Savinsky at the end. Savinsky. Quite enough.
For him.
Yeah, he lost a lot of ground, though. I think he might have been nursing damage. Whoa, well, he is now. Is Paparinopolis still going out there? Did he finish with 1%? I think that was good energy saving. Maybe a little too much from Paparinopolis. But he had no front wing, of course. So.
Maybe that saved extra.
Oh, and Eggert goes into a 4th attack mode, interestingly. Right after the race finishes. Or was that him trying to use attack mode number 3 and running out of time to do so? But either way, there we go. He's certainly not the only one that could be in trouble there. But the race is done, and it's a 2nd win of the season for James Juba to tighten up the tally at the top of the table then. So I think he would have gained, about 2 points then on Michael Steffel.
Yep.
So that means instead of being, let's see, he was about 14 points behind. He's 13 points behind then. So anyway, let's go through the final finishing orders. James Juba that wins from Michael Steffel. Joshua Hamilton is 3rd. Luke Mitchell finishes 4th on the road from Louis Hartley in 5th. Pascal Eggert 6th. Aidan Coleman 7th. And Tony Paparinopoulos is 8th, despite having no front wing for large percentage of the race. Connor Knight was 9th. Philip Savinsky rounded out the top 10 from Stanislas Peugeot several laps down. Thomas Radke also several laps down. And our non-finishers were Ivan Burra and James Knox, with Knox being taken out right at the start of the race then. So, nobody in the interview waiting room. Let's have a look at some of the replays then, Samuel. Did you enjoy that race?
Yeah, very interesting race. I was hoping it was closer for the fight for P1, but something happened with the strategy.
I felt James Juba too good, so I guess it's a prediction point to me. Anyway, here's the replay of that start, and you can see the getaway there. Yeah, Juba always seems to struggle with the getaways. We saw it in Bern as well, didn't we? He just lost that pole position, and then this is the... Oh, you can see, is that the LEF of Knox that's on the outside? So Noxus went straight into the back of, was it Rashka?
Unlucky, his race ended before it even started. Could have been a good fight from the back of the group.
Oh no, it was Burrow as well. I think also hit the back of someone. I'm not necessarily sure that Knox made it to the grid here. Here we go. So the Mason racing car. Mason Motorsport car, Burrow. He's sticking to the outside. Brakes very late and bam! Into the back of Rashke, and that sends Rashke into the pack as well. And that's how he gets caught up with the rest of them.
I don't know why he stopped for such a long time. Maybe he was just pointing at the map, but big mistake by him.
Renzo says James.
Quite unlucky for him,
Yeah. Oh, and this is Peugeot with no front left wheel. Which is quite comical. Let's see a whole lot of the overtakes here, just the crashes. Okay. Okay. So I think Rashke loses it, yeah, because he's got the wing back. Therefore, it was a very late attempt to make that corner, and it ended up being meeting the wall, I think.
I'm surprised he's still going. Okay.
James got disconnected, that's what we're being told. So yeah, I didn't think he made it to the grid, and my instincts were right on that one. Oh, and there's Paparinopolis hitting the inside. This is a scattering of front and rear wings at turn one. Well, the only incidents, it seems that Peter Schumann is looking at the incident feed and it's just showing all the crashes. So here is Pascal missing attack mode and then spinning. Oh, he did a 360. It's a shame he's not on the 360 motorsports car. That would have been even funnier. Yeah, it's amazing that Pascal still got P6 after that because he didn't have the best of starts. As here is Steffel. Yeah, Steffel missed it, I think. And here's Juba. Juba have a moment. Oh, he tagged the wall actually. So he must have been nursing damage up.
Yep.
That was very, very lucky. That was nearly 2 retirements in a row for James Juba there. And it was just because he'd forgotten how wide the rear of that car was. Turned a bit too early. Oh, the rear tire clipped it.
Yeah, wouldn't have been that good for a championship. DNF right there.
Yeah. And this is Mitchell. Oh, having that moment and just about slowing it down in time and avoiding the wall.
I think he was trying to avoid something on the apex of the turn one curve, I think.
Oh, yeah, the front wing, maybe? No, I think he just went long. I think he just went long.
He still went too deep. Got turn 3 right. Well, he fell down so he doesn't get the CC, but I would have personally taken attack mode there. So I don't lose that much time after the mistake.
Okay. Right, as we see Hartley making that mistake. I think that was what allowed Mitchell to catch him in the battle for 4th. We have got Juba waiting in the interview room to talk to us. Oh, no, he got bored. I waited too long.
Well, too bad.
Ah, that's a shame. Alright, I could... Oh no, he's back now. Okay, he must have got discounted. This is that moment with Eggert and Coleman, where Coleman just dived up the inside. But anyway, I think now might be a good time to drag Juba in before he really does leave. This is a replay of Coleman. Yeah, the rear brakes just locked, didn't they? And lucky he didn't send Pascal into the wall there.
That seemed pretty close.
So we're joined now by Hunter Birch Simulation's very own James Juba, who has won his 2nd race of the season. James, congratulations. Again, the start was not the best in the world, but you made up for it with that aggressive attack mode strategy. You just seem so confident with the extra power, and nobody else is really able to live with you.
Yeah, I need to work on these starts. These are really killing me. But
Yeah.
no, good strategy in the race. I was worried with Josh at the start, the way he shot off initially, but I think he was massively over-consuming because even I was, and I wasn't able to keep up. So
Yeah, it's such an energy critical circuit, Sao Paulo, with all those straights as well. So everyone was pretty much 0.4 at most, 0.0 as they crossed the line. So yeah, it was very, very critical there. Did you have word on what happened to Luke in the other car? Because he seemed not to take any attack mode at all. Was that because he'd not mapped the button or something?
I think something happened with his game that something went wrong with his attack mode because
Okay,
he did
cool. That's
try
what
it
we'll
and
tell the
onned it,
stewards.
but
Hopefully they'll be lenient.
but yeah, I'm not sure really what went on, but he did try and map it before the race, and for some reason it didn't work when it came to the race. So
Not much you can do in that scenario, I guess. So anyway, 2 in a row, James. Obviously, winner in Hyderabad, winner in Sao Paulo. We'll put Bern behind us because it was again with a bad start, led to the race basically ending quite quickly. But that's 2 out of 3 so far. How you feel about Punta del Este, 21st of May, end of the month? Much tighter, twistier circuit, but again, one that should play to your strengths.
yeah, I think it should be a good track for me. Yeah, we'll see how it goes in the race. So
Yeah, brilliant. Anyway, thanks for putting on a brilliant show for us, James, and strategically working away to the front and using that raw pace to its advantage. It was you at your very, very best today, which is what we love to see in both qualifying and the race, it must be said. So, congratulations on another win, and keep them coming, buddy.
thank you.
All right, I'm sorry I didn't give Samuel a chance to get a word in edgeways there, but
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
but I think we just want to rush through because my brother apparently wants to go to bed, even though it's only 9:20 here. But he's got work in the morning clearly. So
Work easier.
let's be joined now by Pascal Eggert from Frinavond Motorsport. Pascal, what a race you had today! Amazing fight with Aidan Coleman near the end, where he nearly put you in the wall a couple of times. You hit the wall quite heavily near the end and still were able to get past him. So it looked like you were never going to get past him. And then just at the end, you did, and you got that 6th position. So just reward, or do you think there was more possible today?
I was surprised how was holding up with Luke for a long time, but then I saw in the end I lost 22 seconds to him. So he definitely did an interesting energy strategy. But yeah, I was kind of lining up the pass on Aiden in the last lap. At some point, I needed to save quite a bit, like down to 3.3. But in the last laps, I had like 3.5. So yeah, that worked out then.
Indeed, it did. You never really want to be too low going into that final lap because it could just leave you in a very vulnerable position, especially when you're over consuming in attack mode as well. How do you feel like the season's going so far? Because that was definitely one of your better drives of the season, but it's been a little bit of a quiet one for you so far, if you don't mind me saying, where we've seen a couple of moments here and there, but you've mostly sort of been in the midfield.
I miss my Gen 2s. The car is definitely tricky. Like, you have to be alert constantly. Like, I don't know if you saw that. My first attack mode, I instantly did a 360 out of the
We
attack
did. We
mode
saw the end of
zone.
it, and then we
Yeah.
saw a replay of it at the end. You missing and doing a 360.
Yeah,
It's a
at
shame you're
least
not in
I
the
got the-
360 car because that would have been appropriate.
It literally cost me 1% of energy that lap 2. So, I mean, on this race was really tough on energy, and 1% really made a difference. So, I'm glad I still made it work with Aiden.
Yeah, certainly. And yeah, it was a really, really entertaining fight. So, Samil, do you have any questions for Pascal before we let him go?
Yeah, Pascal. What do you want to do for the next race?
Actually, I don't think I'm gonna be there. I'm just gonna be there for race direction because I'm gonna be on holidays.
Oh, all right. I see. All right.
Yup. I'm gonna give Nick a break.
I forgot the race was today anyway until about 2 hours before.
Yeah. Well, no wonder the safety car was not used for that massive shunt at the start.
He was
Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker when I look back at it. I don't know how you messed that up.
There was only
Was
one
there a big
car
crash at
with.
the start?
There's only
I mean,
one
it wasn't
car in
big,
top
but
car.
it
in the
was.
bag, but
Yeah.
multiple cars involved.
Yeah, it was what's his name?
Ivan.
The guy in the M
Ivan.
Motorsport.
Ivan.
Ivan, yeah.
Yeah.
Ivan went crashing into the back of Thomas, and then Stanislav had a massive crash at the end of the first lap as well, where he just attempted to make the final corner way too late, and then did a whole lap
Planted into
without
the
a
wall.
front left tire.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, but it was a fun race.
Oh,
Very
that's good.
tricky with the energy.
Ah, well, unfortunately, Pascal, it's meant to be tricky. So sorry to tell you
Yup.
that.
That's why we do this.
Yeah, and I'm sure maybe we can do a historic Formula E thing where you can go back to the Gen 2 cars for a bonus season or something. But I think that
Well, if they
That could
weren't
be the final
broken,
round.
Yeah,
if
they're
they weren't
broken.
broken, then yes.
okay, well, it broken even more than we already made them in our races.
Yeah.
No, like literally broken. They added like the logic of braking. Like the Gen 2 didn't gain a lot of energy during braking, but somehow they added the braking logic from the Gen 3 car to the Gen 2 car. So now you can literally do an outlap and be on full energy for your start of your lap. There's infinite energy.
Wow, there we go. Clearly
Great
somebody,
content, by the way.
just decided at Studio 397 to I'll just make the regeneration infinitely powerful and call it a day.
Yep.
You know, exponential energy. It's like a perpetual motion machine in all of these cars.
Yep.
But anyway, thanks for talking to us, Pascal. Well done on the P6, and best of luck for Punta del Este.
Thanks.
So then, as that's the end of our interviews, then, Samil, we are halfway through the season now. We've had 3 rounds. We believe Rome might be rescheduled at one point, but we've got Punta del Este still to go. Diriyah on the 4th of June, the mystery race on the 18th of June. So we're getting to the business end of the season now, and it's sort of turning into a battle. We obviously got the 1 drop score, but at the moment, Juba is acing that Drivers' Championship, and Mikael Steffel is the main competition with a win, a 2nd place, and a 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, I think the championship bout is going to be between those two. They look very fast, very competitive. Joshua Hamilton also very good, but just I think he messed up the strategy this race, and he didn't get any points last race, so that wasn't that that good for him.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Hamilton's still got the 2nd place from Hyderabad, so it's not all completely over for him yet, but there we go. Lots of twists and turns still to come then. So, my thanks to Peter Schumann for setting up the broadcast at very, very short notice after getting home, to Semil Slava for filling in the commentary, also at short notice, for Nick for turning up to drive the safety car, even though he didn't end up using it in the end, to all of our drivers who put on a great show, including, of course, James Juba, who took his 2nd win of the season. And thank you very much to you for watching here. I've been Edward Hunter, and that was round 3 of season 7 of the EERC Formula E World Championship here at Sao Paulo, Brazil. We'll see you at Punta del Este on the 21st of May. Until then, bye for now, and we hope you have a great 2 weeks.